Let's talk about the metaverse and investing in the metaverse for 2020. Hi, Bill. How are you today?
Doing well, thanks, Dave.
Hi, this
I'm
is
hearing a
Bill.
lot about this metaverse, so this is exciting.
All right, Bill Wilson, Dave Rogers here. We have been friends for over 50 years. We've got experiences of varying sorts in technology and finance. And today we're talking about the metaverse. Bill, do you have a quick question about the metaverse?
I guess my first thing that comes to mind, what is it?
It's this 3D, 4D virtual world, something that companies have been doing, yet this past year has really shot up because Facebook decided that they're going to change their name to the metaverse. The top companies in technology have been talking about a way of communicating. Matrix is part of this. It's about having engaging, collaborative opportunities online in a virtual 3D, maybe even a 4D component, and bringing technology to change the way we experience the world. In a short nugget, that would be the metaverse, yet there are investing opportunities right now. And I wanted to share some ideas with you today. So 2 mega caps that we can invest in. And I'm coming up with 2 different ways to invest in them for American international investors, Canadian investors. And so these are my top 2 picks. Let's get started, Bill.
Perfect.
And we'll play, go down here. The first one, and I'm going to give you an opportunity to try to get a hold of who this might be. They're a cash-making machine with a healthy balance sheet. Trailing 12 months, the company reported over $53 billion in cash flow. It has $75 billion in current assets with no debt. Their range is 244 to 384. Their current price is 344. Their market cap is $987 million. Their earnings per share is almost $14, and they have a PE of 24.6, which is quite low for the top mega techs. They've got a moat of protection from a risk aversion perspective that really puts them in a strong position with 1.9 billion daily users and 3.5 billion people that access their services. I've given you a little clue here because they also own Messenger, Instagram, and WhatsApp. They've got 50 billion for buybacks this year. Now it does have some risk. Do you want to guess who it is?
I'm going to say you're talking about Facebook.
You got it, buddy. So when you think of Facebook, can you think of some risks that Facebook or investing in Facebook does have?
A risk of investing in Facebook. Well, I guess the first one that comes to mind, if it's no longer the in platform and something else comes along and then everybody leaves, you can be gone overnight.
Well, that's the thing. You're right. Like that, the technology of someone creating something better. And that's one of the reasons why Zuckerberg decided this year that they're pumping in $10 billion to be one of the leaders in it. And as you can see, they've got a lot of existing platforms that is creating daily contact with people, even though regulators are going after them. They have scandals, they have whistleblowers. A lot of people don't really like Mark Zuckerberg. So they do have risks. And I think that's what's important whenever you're doing any type of investment is to be aware of the risks and to not put all your eggs in one basket and to look for ways to have a diversified portfolio. So Facebook is the first one I want to talk about. The next platform, a medium, will be even more immersive and embodied internet where you're in the experience, not just looking at it, the metaverse. Who said that, Bill?
Is that like Neo or something from Matrix?
Close. It's Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh.
So let's go to why or what ways to invest in Meta right now. There's really a couple of different ways to invest. And one is for our international investors is that they can go to the stock market through perhaps a platform and buy a share of Facebook at about 345 US dollars. And the analysts are saying by the end of 2022 or sometime between, it should hit about $401. So a pretty decent upside potential for Meta in 2020. However, for us in Canada, we have something called the Neo Exchange. Oh, talk about Matrix, talk about Neo. That just recently started, and Meta trades between 1759 and 2069 over the last few months, and their current price is 2025 Canadian. So if you have a account, a Wealth Simple account, you could go on and pick up a share of Facebook for $20 without paying any commissions. So it's a really low price, affordable way to get involved in the metaverse and to get involved with some exposure to Facebook and upside potential. Looking at a current price of 2025, a potential return this year of $25, $27 would be a nice, healthy return. Other types of investment products could be something called the SPY, which is an exchange traded fund. Facebook has a big position in that. Yet again, one of the things that holds people back from there is the current price of the SPY is $4.65, and it holds most of the technology companies. Yet this, for me, right now is the number one way to play the metaverse is to get involved with Facebook. Any questions on that?
I like the opportunity that we have to, if you're either a beginner or someone that doesn't want to take much risk. I like that opportunity with Neo for the Canadian spot.
Absolutely. So let's go to number 2 in the MegaTech world. Let's go to number 2. And this one, it's a diversified international family entertainment media enterprise. It operates through 4 business segments: media networks, parks and resorts, studio, consumer products, and interactive media. The 52-week range is 142 to 203. The current price is 156, a market cap of 283 billion. Earnings per share is $1.09, and the PE is outstanding, 142 times. Shares were down 14% this year, and they were the worst performing stock in the Dow. Financials were improving, yet it did definitely get hit by COVID. Their revenues, 18.5 billion versus 18.79 expected. They did miss their revenue numbers. That's why they got pounded. The company added 2.1 million streaming clients this past year to reach 118 million. The moats they have are the theme parks, the streaming's growing, and the metaverse is calling them. Bill Wilson, who is this second pick to get involved in the metaverse?
It is Disney.
Right on. And so if you're to look at Disney from an investment perspective, can you think of 1 or 2 things that actually is a risky part of investing in Disney?
The risk, what I think, is the streaming. If there's another streaming thing, if Netflix changes theirs, something like that, that's where I see the big thing. The theme park, I think everybody's it'll go up and down, but the theme park it's always got the great stories there, and it's always a fun time. I see that as being fairly strong. Once travel gets back, it'll just go like crazy. The streaming is amazing right now because we're all inside. But the risk is when we get back out, and if another streaming service comes along that for whatever reason can challenge Disney's content library, that's where the whole thing will come down to.
That's a great one to point out. And a couple of others that we looked at is the cost structures. They do have a pretty high expense base. So they've got to continue to grow, and they got to continue to deal with their management issues. They've just recently let their former CEO just passed into the wilderness, Bob Iger, who was a major engineer of the takeovers that they did over the last decade. And so the new CEO is got to navigate the changing environment with streaming, with the metaverse, and be involved there. So let's just take a look at the next page here. And so we can return to here. And our efforts to date are merely a prologue to a time when we're able to connect the physical and digital worlds even more closely, allowing for storytelling without boundaries in our new Disney metaverse. So they're working on it right now, and they're getting a little bit of pushback. They're saying, no, you can't have a metaverse for Disney. The Disney going experience is the experience. Yet they've got to be looking at ways to bring that to fruition. And that's Bob Chapek, the CEO of Disney. And then if we look at the numbers, Bill, so I know you're interested in potentially having a bigger stake with Mickey Mouse and his team. If you invest in the United States right now, the range for the past year is 142 to 203. You could pick it up at 156 US dollars right now, and the target is 210 for 2022. Or as a Canadian, you can invest in Disney and the Neo Exchange, The 52-week range is 1738 to 2198. Current price is 1902. We've got a target of $23 to $24 for 2022, which again would give you a nice, healthy 30% return. Another option is to start looking at doing some options with Disney, yet that's something that we're going to deal with in future videos. So of these two companies, these two mega players in the metaverse, Bill, are you interested in one of them, both of them, or none of them? Let us know what you think as we bring this video to a close. We're going to ask anyone who's been watching this, please add a comment, add a like, subscribe. We're going to be doing a number of videos on the metaverse, and we're going to be looking at the number 3 and number 4 and number 5 choice in the next video. So if you like this, please hit a like, hit a comment, subscribe, share with some friends, and let's talk about the metaverse, investing in the metaverse throughout 2022. Bill, what would you be looking at doing in your investment portfolio?
I'm thinking I would go with both. And one for Facebook, they've got the base of the people and the sharing and that sort of thing. But Disney, they've got the base, plus they've got the content library that'll be able to create new worlds and new stories within that metaverse. I think that storytelling is going to be a huge thing. They've also got a huge amount of games that have already been created, whether they be board games, things that can be that are either already digital or can be transferred to digital, and then the stories that go along with it. So yeah, Disney is my number one choice for sure.
All right, so Disney's your number one choice. And how close are you to maybe putting some money into Facebook in 2022?
Now that there's that option through the Neo exchange, I would be a lot closer than I would have been if it just had to been through the American Stock Exchange. Again, just sort of dipping my toe in the water to try it out. Yeah, I will probably invest in it this year.
Very good. Well, that's our video for the metaverse and the mega players. And I must, my full disclosure is I own both Disney shares in the US. I own them in the Neo. I own Facebook in the US, and I own Facebook in the Neo. And I've been looking at ways to potentially arbitrage them and look for ways to build bigger positions throughout 2022. So they're both long-term holds, and they're going to be something that I look to develop a greater relationship and a greater exposure in the year ahead. So if there is any sell-off, any dips, for either one of them, I'm likely to be a buyer, and I'm going to look for ways that if we get a big, say, a push up in Facebook, I might sell a little bit of Facebook in the States, because that's something that could allow me to get a US dollar Canada arbitrage. So I'll be looking at having various positions in both of those stocks throughout 2022. With that, Bill, any last questions before we bring the session to a close?
This has been a good base. It gives me a bit more understanding of what's going on. Got to mull it over a bit, and I'll figure out some questions for the next one.
Fantastic. Thanks, well, folks, if you like this, please add a comment, add a like, and we'll see you on the other side at the next video talking about investing in the metaverse. Ciao for now.